Hey everyone, so thanks for joining me today. I just want to make a video on controlling our thoughts and emotions. You could probably think of a lot of times recently where your thoughts just got the best of you, whether it was maybe you were getting angry and you had that angry thought and then you acted out on it. Or maybe it was like lust, right? You had that lustful thought and then you acted out on it. Or maybe you were lazy, you're feeling lazy, and so you acted out on that emotion. And so how do we control these thoughts? Because as Christians, there's a lot of these negative thoughts that we have, right? That are holding us back and causing us to sin and stumble and becoming barriers to progressing and growing in our faith. And so I wanted to directly talk about this topic because we can see through the Bible a lot of times, right, where it says, don't be angry, or like these type of things where it says, do not do this. But it's sort of weird because it doesn't really tell us what do we do, how do we not be angry, and so maybe the Bible does say that. It just hasn't come to my mind yet, but I want to give you a process that I've been using that helps me control my thoughts better, and hopefully it's something new that you've never heard before, because I think it truly works and it helps a lot. And what it is that you have to first understand how thoughts work, right? Thoughts don't just come into your mind. First off, they are in this pre-conscious state, and then they develop into your mind. And so there's a time frame between the pre-conscious and the actual conscious thought. And in that time frame, that is where you need to control the thought. That's the time where you can control it. Because let's take an example of anger, right? Maybe you're feeling angry, right? But you haven't acted out in that anger yet. But you have the slim time frame where it's like, I'm feeling angry. Should I go scream at this person? Should I fight back? Should I, get angry and scream or something? I don't know. But there's that thought process. It's very quick. And for you, it might be very, very small. But mindfulness, which can be grown from meditation, can allow that time frame to increase and increase and increase. Mindfulness is a key concept because what it does is that it allows you to be conscious of the pre-conscious thought, or in the pre-conscious time frame, if that makes sense. It allows you to know that, oh shoot, I'm feeling angry right now, but I don't have to act out in this anger. I can transform it into something else. So that's an interesting thing, because mindfulness I've never heard it talked about by any Christian before. I've never heard anyone talk about this. I've never heard any Christian talk about meditation either. And that's why I'm talking about it, because it is insanely important. And so with meditation, I'll make a whole video on meditation, but basically meditation allows you to increase your mindfulness. And mindfulness what mindfulness is being aware of your thoughts. And why that's so important is because a lot of us, we go by our day and these emotions, they control us because we don't control them. We're not aware of them. Last time you got angry, I want you to think back and just really reflect on did I decide to be angry, or did I just lash out and be angry? In the first scenario, right, you have time frame, right, where you actually thought out, and should I be angry here? In your head, this is a very quick, right, but you're thinking shoot, I'm getting angry at this person. Let's just scream at them and fight back. And so you sin, right? But sinning is not the point here. We're talking about the actual controlling your thoughts. And so at that point, you were sort of mindful of the anger, right? You were mindful of you were aware that you were angry and that you had a choice. And the second scenario that I said was that you just acted out in anger. You didn't really think about it. You just lashed out. And that can be a common thing for us, especially if you have a very low level in your mindfulness skill, right? You can see it as that, a level 1 in mindfulness. Then you're not going to have that time frame where you realize that, there's something's up. And then you just act out in whatever emotion you have. Think about it as lust, right? Take lust for an example. You know, there's times where you sort of battle those thoughts, right? And you're like, shoot, you know, I know I shouldn't be thinking of it, and I should like switch my attention to something else. But then there's those other times you could probably think where the lust sort of just took over. You just let it, you know, you just let it control you. You just engage in that emotion. I don't know what these things are called, but the thought. You know, you engage in the thought, and you know, you lust it. And so mindfulness allows you to just be more aware of it when you're aware of that pre-conscious time frame. And then mindfulness also allows you to have more strength in being able to redirect your thoughts. Because we know that when we have a thought that comes up, it is not good to repress the thought. And so if you're angry, do not repress anger. And so what I mean by that is that when you feel angry, don't just lie to yourself and just lie about your feelings and then act out happy. But it's like it's not like true happiness. It's a deceitful type of happiness. What you want to instead do is to actually transform that anger into happiness. And that's the difference here, is that we're not trying to repress the anger and forcefully just like be happy even though we're angry deep inside. Instead, we have to get rid of the anger fully in that time frame, using mindfulness, right? Being mindful of the thought that we had, that we can make the choice to do what is right. Make that choice, right? And don't repress the thought, but instead think of like, shoot, you know, I'm angry right now, but I can be happy. I don't have to act out in anger. And that's an important thing. Like, we don't have to act out in that emotion. We can change and do something else. And you have to change it. You have to remove the anger. You can't let it you can't become angry, because once you do that, you're too late, right? Too late as in like in this certain scenario, right? Because later on you could become happy after you got angry. But what we want to do is not become angry at all, right? That was like the peak goal. And so if we can do that, which is possible, right, using mindfulness in that pre-conscious thought process, change the thought and fully like be like, yeah, I don't have to be angry here. I don't have to engage in that thought. I can be happy. I can be joyful. I can be grateful in this situation. And so that's the type of thinking you want to do. Don't repress, but change the thought into something else. Because repression is like lying, which I said earlier. So be aware of that as well. But at the end of the day, it's interesting to think about these things. And meditation is so important because I've been really practicing meditation for a while, and especially in the last month, I've been trying Vipassana meditation, which is a Buddhist meditation where you sort of think. It's called Vipassana means insight, and basically you're meditating, and whenever a thought comes up, you just become more aware of it. So if lust comes up in my mind, right, I don't try to get rid of it, but I don't engage in it as either. But we think of it in the pre-conscious thought stage. Like I said, this is a very important, I'm going to keep saying it in this video, but that's the key stage where you're not engaging in it, so you're not sinning. But there's a time frame where if you're doing this type of meditation, you can just feel it out. What are you feeling in this thought? You know, when you're when you have that desire to lust, you know, feel a physical, right? Maybe your heartbeat's increasing, maybe your breath's shortening. You know, I don't know, but and then feel like the actual like desires. Like, why is it that I feel lustful? What exactly is it in me? Like, why do I want to act out in this? Don't act out in the lust, but think of it like, why do I want to do it? And when you get to the bottom of this, just keep asking these questions and really try to just think through, right? Take your time and think through it. It's gonna be uncomfortable at first, because usually you're like, shoot, anger, get it out of my mind quick. Laziness, get it out of my mind. Like all these thoughts, we just try to get rid of it. But I'm encouraging you to just sit with it for a while. Don't engage with it, but just think of the feelings that and thoughts that it creates, the desires it creates. Because when you truly get down to it, I'm really giving you the sort of hack and the shortcut here, but at the end you'll see that you don't have to act out in the thought. You don't have to do it. It's sort of stupid, right? Because usually we're like, oh, we have a lustful thought, I have to engage in it. Or I have this slothful thought, I have to engage in it. But when you do this Vipassana meditation, practicing this mindfulness, right? You realize that, yes, I don't have to engage in this thought. And that's a key moment, because now when you go about life, when it's not meditation, but just regular day-to-day life, and a thought comes up in your mind, and you catch it because you're mindful, right? You catch in the pre-conscious thought process in that stage. You can make that choice really easily because you already thought beforehand in the meditation, where the first choice is to engage in it, and you know that it's not going to be fruitful, and that the thoughts, the feelings that you had in your body was not like, you controlled it. So it's like, yeah, I can control it again. And so you choose the second choice, which is to transform that thought into something else. Don't repress it, but transform it into a different thought that's good. But yeah, I hope that makes sense. That's it for this video. I'm gonna make a video on meditation sometime, but you can probably search it up, Vipassana meditation. I'll put it on the screen right here. Search that up, try it out for yourself. But the key is just to feel the thought out, feel the emotion. Don't push it aside, don't judge it, but just feel how it feels in your body, in your mind, in your heart. And you'll realize that, yes, you can control these thoughts. And the more you do this, the more mindfulness you have, and that pre-conscious stage is going to increase and increase more and more time. And you'll find that, maybe it's like, I don't know, you're getting into an argument, right? And like, shoot, I want to be angry because I just want to scream at this person because they're not making any sense. But then you're like, shoot, I don't have to engage in this thought. You're like, okay, I can act in peace. I can act with grace and mercy and love and kindness, right? And and that's what Jesus would want us to do. And yeah, I hope this works for you. I want you to try it out and just tell me how it goes. But this is what I've been doing for a while, and the more you practice it, the more that pre-conscious stage increases, and just becomes easier and easier, and you become more mindful of it, right? So that's it for this video. It's a very theoretical type of video, so it's very in your mind about thought processes, so it might be hard to wrap your mind around it, but just try it out and see what you think. If you have any questions, comment below. I'll be down to answer any of the questions. And yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time, y'all.